The Bucks are champions. This was a NBA Finals that I thought going in, I didn't care who was going to win.
Ooh.
It felt I'm very much in the camp of just I want new blood at all times in the NBA. I wanted.
Where's the scoreboard?
I want
Tied up right now.
Bloods
So
versus new bloods. I want I just don't want super teams. I don't want coastal teams. I want middle America.
you want elite teams, but not elitist teams.
I was pulling for Memphis versus Milwaukee.
Yes.
That's my dream. Memphis versus the New Orleans Hornets. These are the teams I enjoy watching. The Pacers, the Cavs, whatever. So I didn't think I cared. I thought, like, Suns, Bucks, whoever wins, it's a great story because the Lakers didn't win, the Nets didn't win, and that makes me happy. But then once the series started, I very quickly was cheering for the Bucks. And I tell you what, Tate, by the time Game 6 ended, I was beaming from ear to ear that the Milwaukee Bucks were champions. And I think it is because of Giannis. I think that's pretty much it. That has to be the only reason why I cared so much about the Bucks beating the Suns, right? Get inside my head. Tell me what I'm thinking.
No, you're thinking that you just watched someone dominate in a Game 6 in a closeout game. That doesn't really happen often other than, top players like a Michael Jordan or, I've heard a lot of Bob Pettit, being brought up. I didn't know that this many people knew about his finals experiences. Magic Johnson comes to mind.
How frustrating do you think it is for the people that pull up those stats, the producers at these sports shows that have to come up with a stat to contextualize how great Giannis is, and they go into Basketball Reference and they check all the boxes where they're like, the only guy to average 12 and a half rebounds and 31 and a half points, and you start checking all the boxes, and then you hit enter and it's like Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Bob Pettit, and then that guy's like,
it's like, all right, start with Pettit, but damn it, it would have been better with Magic.
It reminds me of the famous graphic where Thaddeus Young was on the Pacers. And he was averaging like 12.9 points, 4.1 assists.
It's the Big Ten stat of the day.
It's the most Big Ten stat of the day you've ever seen. But I always wonder, the guys are hoping it's just like Jordan and LeBron, and that's it. And then,
well, in the bubble, remember we kept seeing like Jamal Murray. It would be like Jordan, Jerry West, Jamal Murray. You're like, that is a great trio for him to be in. Donovan Mitchell was doing the same thing.
Pettit. Apologies to the Pettit family, by the way. Bob Pettit, Hall of Famer, great NBA player. But you know that the 24-year-olds that are working at your Fox Sports, your ESPN, or whatever, they're ripping these stats.
Well, the best is when
the
best is when the older, your broadcaster, analyst, whatever you want to call themselves, would act like they watch Bob Pettit. They're like, and of course, Bob Pettit. Oh my God, Bob Pettit. We all watched that one. But in general, Giannis, I mean, you can't compare him to anybody. But if you had to mix two people together, it's like Akeem Olajuwon and Jordan. And these are the only two guys, shades of. And these are the only two guys that have done what he's done, which is win Defensive Player of the Year, win an MVP, and win a Finals MVP. So I mean, he's in rarefied air. He is in a different space. He is international Jordan. But again, you can't compare him to anyone because he's won Giannis. And when he went to Chick-fil-A, I was in line at Chick-fil-A getting breakfast, and I'm going through my phone on Twitter. I'm stopped, people. I'm not driving. I'm not a maniac. But I'm just going through my phone, and I see Giannis order his 50-piece. And he ordered a 50-piece McNugget from Chick-fil-A.
McNugget?
Yeah, he said McNugget, which is great. It's so pure. Like you said, you expect when someone wins, there's like a cockiness or like an arrogance that's going to come with that. But instead, he has this beautiful humility. You can tell how much it affected him. I mean, the tears pouring down, talking about his mom, talking about they were selling CDs in the streets. Yeah. And now he's an NBA champion. And the first time LeBron played in the finals was 2007. Giannis didn't even play basketball then. So, I talk about turning the page. Are we turning the page or passing the torch? We're turning the page. Okay. Because the torch, let's just be quite honest, Jordan never passed the torch to anybody. He still has it. He still has the torch. And that's why he made The Last Dance, because he's like, in case y'all forgot, I'm still the GOAT. And LeBron James has tried so hard to get that man to just pass him the torch.
Give me the torch, Mike.
Mike's like, going between the legs, like keeping the torch from him. And so there is...
Space Jam 3 is LeBron James on the quest to find the torch.
I hope Bugs finds it. But basically, I think Giannis. I saw all the shows. Skip and Shannon. We'll keep it. Company men. They were talking about the crown, and Skip saying that Kevin Durant has had the crown since 2017. Right. I think LeBron is still the crowning achievement in the NBA. The guy that they're going to point to. But right now, Giannis is the best player in basketball, and that is.
Well,
that's fun. That's exciting.
I saw another discussion that's happened since Game 6 is ended, the finals have ended, which is Giannis the face of the NBA? Can he be the face?
Yes,
like this
he
discussion
is the face.
about like all that. Not only is he or should he be or whatever. Like
yes, he is ideal.
He's ideal.
Yes.
This is what you
He's
want
a
the
Disney
face of the
character.
Yes.
We're when we potentially have kids one day, we're gonna watch a movie called The Antetokounmpos. You know, and it's gonna be the 3 Antetokounmpos and their amazing story of overcoming the odds.
LeBron's story is amazing.
Yes.
LeBron's story is
a kid
insane.
from Akron, insane. But an American story, rags to riches, beautiful.
Yes, beautiful story.
A billionaire.
He branded his story at like 19.
Yes.
And has been shoving it down your throat ever since.
Ever since that
Nike's
Hummer.
been financing. Yeah, and it's like I mean, we're at a point now in 2021 where the authenticity of LeBron's story it's been polished so much that what we're being presented is like, you know, and he gets on Instagram and posts, I'm just a kid from Akron, as he's like, you know, drinking $50,000 bottles of wine. And he's like, man, look at the comment. It's like, okay, we get it, but also, you know, Giannis, it still feels authentic. And I guess that's my fear moving forward are we going to look up in 5 years and Giannis has won a couple titles in Milwaukee and now he's like, I want to get traded to the Lakers and just live in LA. And also, I'm going to star in Space Jam 3.
I mean, he might want to star in a movie, but it won't be Space Jam. It'll be a Disney film about his family. Like he's going to be a star, but I'm not worried about fame with him because it does seem that seems very vapid over here. Like he has this family life.
Yeah.
I love that his son was the first one to touch the trophy, like puts it on the ground.
Yeah.
And then of course all the trolls online are like his son touched it before CP3. I mean these guys are brutal.
Poor I hate CP3. By the way.
You hate C3P?
Yeah, I wanted to C3. Yeah, CP3. I want to talk about that for a second because I got conned by
the media got you.
The media got
I know.
me. Yeah,
I know. I saw you
me.
one time say you were like, I think I might be pulling for Chris Paul, and I was like, oh. And I like Chris Paul, North Carolina guy.
I think that's why I'm so upset because I know that I got scammed. I got scammed by people into believing that like Chris Paul winning the ring.
I think LeBron's media mafia got you.
They really did.
Yeah.
And then like Game 5, I'm watching. I'm like, no. I like when it was the moment that Giannis had the alley-oop dunk and Chris Paul tried to hit him in the balls.
Yeah.
And all the flood of emotion coming back where I was like, I hate this guy. I've always hated this guy. Like not. I guess hate's too strong of a word. He's always been annoying.
Yes.
He's always been like, I've never gone out of my way to cheer for Chris Paul. Suddenly I found myself cheering for him. I was like, yeah, that'd be a nice story, I guess. No, it wouldn't have. It would not have been a nice story. Chris Paul never changed. He never at any point was like, I'm going to stop flopping. I'm going to stop whining. Yeah. Even as the clock hits 0, he's like running off the court. We can't even get like the moment where he, you know, for the love of God, at least fake it. At least go up to Giannis, tap him in the chest a couple times, say, this is your league now, buddy, or whatever. I don't know. Can we get that?
None of that.
Like, that's the brand play. That's if you want like to be fake, even fake it, Tate, that's what I would do. I would fake it.
I think stubbornness is probably the best word for Chris Paul's entire career. And like I told, we were talking about this. Only one little guard has ever been able to lead a team himself to a title, and it's Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. And he had a very similar makeup to Chris Paul in the sense that like he's
petty.
But he's also a champion, right? So like Isaiah is literally the one of one in my opinion. And so you kind of, but Chris Paul is also, you know, the PA president. You know, he is influential. State Farm ads, all that other
State
mumbo
Farm
jumbo.
ads they got me.
Yeah,
I think the State Farm. Something happened where I got conned into like.
If you're State Farm, you call Giannis, right?
I think so.
I mean, absolutely. Like, let's just be quite upfront about this. If I'm State Farm, I walked into the meeting and say, guys, I got an idea. Let's pivot. Number 3 to number 34.
His alter ego in State Farm is Johnny Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
Something like that.
And he's like Clark Kent.
Yeah.
He has glasses and he goes and like writes about the Bucks. He covers the Bucks.
My theory of what happened with Chris Paul was that because I believe that most of America still doesn't like the guy, and I think that
it's in pockets.
I think what happened was we got ahead of it, and I made this case to Charlotte on the show we did yesterday. So apologies if people listen to both shows and I'm basically doing the same monologue. But I think what happened, Tate, is that. Somewhere along the line, we thought the Suns are definitely winning this title. We said the Phoenix, you know, going into the finals, Phoenix was steamrolling everybody. They beat LeBron and the defending champion Lakers in round 1. They beat the MVP. They sweep the MVP Jokic in round 2. They beat the Clippers, who were red hot after taking out the Jazz in the Western Finals, and everyone was suddenly like, wow, how cool is this that the Clippers are in the Western Finals? Got over the hump, maybe. They're not missing Kawhi as much as we thought. So the Suns were rolling. Giannis gets hurt going into game 1, and it looks like the Suns are going to win the title. And I think that was the moment in time that we as a collective basketball community decided this is inevitable. Chris Paul is going to win his ring. And I don't want to look like a butthurt hater when it happens. So I'm going to get ahead of it and be like, I like Chris Paul. How cool is this that a guy this talented has been, he was banished to Oklahoma City. And now he's back.
I mean, it was cool. It was cool.
It kind of was, but like if it was anyone else, he's the worst.
At least he upped his value himself and got that team to the playoffs and got traded the responsible way. James Harden, to me, is the one that is the perfect. He's perfectly getting smacked around. His old teammate PJ Tucker deserves to win a championship. Is a championship level starter, defender. I love PJ Tucker, and now he gets to celebrate with the true champion Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy that. Again, I said it on the last show. He's not friends with these guys.
Yeah, quit trying to go to Giannis. I want to go back to Chris Paul. I'm not touching on him.
Chris Paul, look, I don't even care to eulogize him either. You know what I mean? It's like Chris Paul could sign with Phoenix and go right back at it.
Yeah, I
but
think
he might not. He might go to the Knicks.
I think it's hilarious.
He might go to the Knicks.
I think it's hilarious that they're talking about Chris Paul, like maybe going to the Lakers because
he can't. They can't pay him.
Why would he go to the worst team anyway?
He never got his max, so he never got his big money unless State Farm has covered that back end with millions and millions of dollars, which they're probably going to give to Giannis.
Forget the money.
Soon.
If the guy wants a ring, why would he go to a worse team, Tate?
Exactly.
That's what I don't ever get.
Well, I think LeBron went to him after the game and was like, "We're gonna have to team up. We're gonna have to team up to stop him." And Chris Paul's like, "How much money y'all got?" They're like the mid-level. He's like, he cannot sign there for the mid-level.
I thought Chris Paul was going to win a ring, and I just want to get ahead of it because there's nothing more embarrassing as a sports fan than to be the guy who
he's going to the Knicks. That's what I think.
Okay, but there's nothing more embarrassing to be the guy who, as the trophy's being raised, you're the guy that's just sitting on the couch is like, I hate that guy. Like when LeBron won his first title and all the people were just like, who cares? He'll never be, you know, like you don't want to be the hater. And I think we all saw the writing on the wall that Chris Paul was going to win the title. So we're like, let's not be the hater. That's a bad look for us.
People forget the Thunder were favored going into the finals that year.
And then game 5, the Bucks win in Phoenix and you realize, oh my God, the Bucks are going to do this. And it's like the chains came off of me and I was like, I hate this guy. I hate Chris Paul, I think.
Yeah.
So
Titus Unchained. Just going at Chris Paul.
Giannis, though, very likable, which has been covered extensively and will be continue to be covered throughout the offseason. I feel like he's just going to keep popping up, doing fun things. And I saw the parade.
NBA is global. Yeah. That's what we all learned. Like we had a long run as being like we had basketball created in Massachusetts. We've owned the sport. It's been all us. But right now, it's a global game. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is the face of the league.
Well, to that point, why is it that the international guys seem more likable, seem more willing to, you know, if you're someone who believes like I do, which if you listen to us, we're a college basketball podcast by and large. So I assume if you like college basketball a little more than the pros, you might have more of a you might agree with this mindset, which is the player empowerment, the guys demanding trades. James Harden having the ability to be like, trade me to Brooklyn, bitch, and Houston's like, okay, James, we'll do it. That is insane, and we desire a time, Tate, when guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo could go wherever he wanted. He's like, I want to stay with the team that drafted me. So to see him stay in Milwaukee, a place that very few NBA stars would want to go to, it makes it feel more special, Tate. But as I think about like the guys who check those boxes of like guys who would stay in the teams that are places that they're drafted, guys who don't care about their brands, guys who, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the stuff that our dads would complain about as they're watching the NBA, right? It feels like they're mostly the international guys, and the American guys are the ones that are. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong.
So why is that? What do you think's going on here? What is it about? Because my theory is this. My theory is
it's hard to be the best and stay humble. I think that's my theory on all things American basketball.
I have a theory about this. It's Michael Jordan's fault. Michael Jordan taught the world of basketball.
Classic LeBron fan.
When Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan taught all of us a lesson.
How to fly. He taught us how to fly.
Okay, calm down.
Taught us to believe.
Cut Tate's mic, Jim. Cut Tate's mic. Michael Jordan. When he has his run, Tate, he taught the world 2 different lessons. He taught America basketball players a lesson. He taught the rest of the world a lesson. What he taught the world was that basketball's pretty tight. Yeah. It's a sick game. Like everyone's watching the Dream Team in '92. You want to be like Mike.
Yeah.
It's been covered extensively, the impact that the Dream Team had on the globalization of basketball. So all these people all over the world, their initial thought watching the Dream Team was, this is cool. I like basketball. Maybe I should play basketball instead of soccer. This is cool. That's like basically it. What it taught those of us in America was that you could, if you got great at basketball, you could sell $1 billion worth of shoes. You could be in movies. You could be in Gatorade commercials. You could have the strongest brand. You could have kids in every city in America lining up around the block for finish line to open to get your shoes. And I think that was the lesson that all the Americans saw. And whereas the world was just like, basketball's pretty cool, I kind of like basketball. Yeah. So I think the world is still like 20 years behind on trying to like brand themselves.
The American capitalistic structure. Like the kids are like, I can make lots of money. Yes.
So the next wave of like, not the Giannis generation, but the generation after that was watching Giannis be awesome, and Luka is going to watch Luka and Giannis and Jokic. I think in 20 years, like the guys coming out of Nigeria and Greece and Serbia and Slovenia are going to come to America and be like, here's my brand strategy.
I mean, definitely.
And I think the American guys are ahead of it. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, they definitely are ahead of it, but the Europeans definitely have an advantage of, one, they have a mystery. There's a mystique behind them. I think we always underestimate that about Michael Jordan. There was this, obviously the angel version of Michael Jordan, the one that's, I want to be like Mike, that's laughing with the kids, drinking Gatorade. But there's also the one that's, drinking Miller Lite until 4 a.m. playing cards. You know what I mean? So the mystique of that, right? Like Allen Iverson was influenced by both sides of Michael, probably, to a fault at sometimes. But that was still the mystique that he was into. Giannis Antetokounmpo, all I know is when he wore black Air Forces to Game 3, there were a lot of people in European places, that were saying like, that's like a message to say like, I'm Debo, you know what I mean? Like, you don't mess with me, like to wear black forces, right? So like, we don't really know. Like Giannis is this likable guy, but like, let me just tell you, but also after the game, he calls out KD basically specifically, says super team, and LeBron to some, I think it's more KD than
it was more KD. It was more KD.
And then he goes and he says, not 49, not 51, 50, because KD had 49. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just telling you, he's the top player in the world, and he's talking like it. And it's a very throwback, because I mean, Kevin Durant has to and will respond next season, and it's going to be fun, to see 2 7-footers with skill. One more of a skill with the other one with force, now going at each other's necks in the Eastern Conference. And one of them is the American player, and I think he's the underdog right now. And that's been a long time since we can say that. And then on the flip side of that, in the Western Conference, Jokic is the MVP, and his center is the starting center for USA Basketball. So if you're looking at it from that vantage point, the NBA is now a European global game, whatever you want to call it, and America's number 2.
Yeah,
and that's crazy to think about, because the Dream Team was not that long ago.
So that's why you're out on Team USA?
No, I'm just saying, I'm pointing it out. I want to be number 1. And it's because we let Duke take over. Duke is too involved with Team USA Basketball. We need to get back to Carolina basketball, not Duke basketball. That's the problem. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.